Emotional triggers vary in intensity and visibility. Some are blatantly apparent and others are at the edge of awareness. Some set you off every time you encounter them. Others press your buttons only when you're vulnerable and stressed. It's impossible to live a full life without running into emotional triggers. Because you're not made of Teflon, the best you can do is try to avoid the obvious ones, know what heats you up, and learn how to cool yourself down. Your basic motivation in life is to move towards pleasure and away from pain, if you don't remember. Most people are generally drawn to an upset by similar circumstances. No one enjoys being yelled at, getting physically hurt, failing, or losing a loved one. Most of us have visceral negative reactions to rejection, abandonment, grief, and humiliation. However, due to culture, biology, family, and individual experience, you also have a wide variety of expectations and tolerance for distress. Things that drive me crazy might not bother you, while something that has you climbing up the walls might hardly ruffle my feathers. Your response to emotional triggers depends to some extent on what you expect in life. If you accept that life has ups and downs and feel confident that you'll be able to weather the storm, you won't be as riled up by circumstances as someone who believes that things magically should and must always work out for them. If you don't want to be ambushed by emotional triggers, you have to acknowledge that they're out there lying in wait. Recognizing that we all have detours, throwbacks, hills, and valleys in our life's journey will go a long way towards helping you stay on your feet and moving forward. Sticking your head in the sand and pretending that life should be easy, fair, and just will nearly always leave you in shock and off balance when you hit a bump in the road. The nature and extent of previous hurtful experiences also affects your ability to manage emotional triggers. If you've endured a lifetime of suffering, you may be extremely sensitive, or you may wrongly believe you're so tough that you can handle anything. If you were neglected, abused, or endured trauma as a child, each present-day situation that is similar to your previous suffering may act as an emotional trigger, especially if your wounds haven't healed or you're unaware of the damage they've caused. By coming to terms with your mistreatment or trauma, you'll learn what kind of situation and interaction set you off, and then either avoid them or put extra effort into dealing with them effectively. Your current circumstances are a partial predictor of how you react to triggers. If life is rolling along and your stress level is low to moderate, you may encounter one and be able to ignore or deactivate it fairly easily. You may even think, well, into every life a little rain must fall, and be on your merry way. If you're going through a very stressful period and already are in over your head, a trigger may be the straw that breaks the emotional back. Lastly, how you're feeling in the moment that you're triggered makes a big difference. If you're tense and jumpy or feeling helpless, you'll probably have a negative reaction. Something that's not normally a trigger might even escalate into one. If you encounter one when you're feeling especially upbeat, even if you're not all that pleased with life in general, it may barely register. Due to your current happiness, something that would normally spark a reaction might barely turn your head.